Hi, my name is Donna and I have a flock of birds. Some of my birds love to bathe while others don't. So today I will be talking about why, when, how, and tips on bathing your birds. So why do birds bathe? Well, they bathe to maintain their feathers. Why do we want to encourage our pet birds to bathe? Well, bathing helps keep their feathers clean and it removes any toxins, pollutants, or dirt. Bathing encourages preening, which helps put their feathers in their place. Bathing can give them some relief while molting during the dry season or during the warmer weather when they want to cool off. Our houses have dry air, which is not ideal for their skin and feathers. Birds can start to pluck if their skin gets dry and itchy. When should you offer your birds a bath? Well, birds should have the opportunity to bathe every day. Their feathers and skin will look healthy and beautiful. It's best that they bathe in the morning or early afternoon so they don't go to bed damp. Offer a bath to your birds when they are hot, molting, itchy, or dirty. How to offer your birds a bath? There are several ways that you can offer your birds to bathe. Some methods are using a misted bottle with a continuous spray that creates a gentle mist, stimulates rain, right? Cat fountains stimulates the rain, or a running creek, which stimulates a bathing response. Shallow bowls can be offered at the bottom of the cage, on top of the cage, or on a tabletop. You can turn on the tap in your sink and have your bird sit on your hand. The sound of running water usually stimulates a bathing response and your bird will start to bathe. This is the best feeling when they're on your hand bathing. Your bird truly trusts you. A shower perch is a fun way to get your bird to bathe. Usually what I do is, come here, I don't want you pooping on my shoulder. Usually what I do is I bring my birds into the shower, into the bathroom, and I shower first, and it gets them interested in showering. After I finish showering, I put them on the shower perch or just let them sit on top of the shower doors, and they can decide if they want to shower or not. You can also shower your birds when you're not showering. I just find that the longer they hear the shower, it increases the chances that they want to shower, and that's why I bring my birds into the shower while I'm showering. Use caution when showering. If you use hot water to shower, then you want to turn the temperature lower so you don't burn your bird. The water pressure should be turned into a mist. You want to place the perch so that they have the choice to shower or not to shower. Some like the drips and the splashes and not the direct water flow. It's best to avoid the direct water flow with no escape. Unfortunately, I've heard many devastating stories of birds drowning in the shower, delayed drowning, or dry drowning after showering. It happens when the bird is holding its head up towards the ceiling and the water is going directly into the nostrils, which enter into the oral cavity and upper respiratory tract or into the bird's lungs. I have seen so many videos like this. The owners say that the birds are enjoying it because they are not moving or trying to get away, but in fact they are probably stressed. I see owners, the same owners, saying that their bird have died hours after taking a shower or the next day, and they don't know why. But I am sure it was from the shower going right into the nostrils. So just use your caution when showering your bird. It's best to not allow your bird to bathe like this. In my own opinion, if they are not showing a bathing response, they are not enjoying the shower. Wet greens is a fun way that birds like to bathe. I find that budgies really like to bathe in wet greens. You can attach one of those bird baths that attaches to the cage. This usually works for small birds, has the baths that attach to the cage are on the smaller side. Try the sink by putting a small amount of water in it. You may be surprised and they might jump right in. What temperature should the water be at and how deep should the water be? Hey Malibu, do you have the answer? Well, the temperature of the water can vary from cold, cool, warm to lukewarm. Too cold or too hot can cause shock to the bird's system, so never use hot water or freezing cold water. Some birds love bathing in cold water. Have you ever noticed that when you change your bird's drinking water, they dive right into it and bathe? Well, I have. I give them clean cold water and they bathe in it. I have offered warmer water in their water dishes, but they don't go bathing in it. They seem to like cold water, and I think it refreshes them. You know, some birds, they like cooler water, while some like warmer water. Make sure you offer only water. Avoid using any soap unless it's a medical emergency, such as if they fall into like grease and you need to get it off. It's best to contact your avian vet if that ever happens. So how deep should the water be? Well, could be around 1 to 2 inches depending on the species. For the larger birds like, macaws, cockatoos, Amazons, it could be deeper because they're bigger birds. You don't want your birds to swim. You want them to splash like they would in a puddle. Make sure the room is warm, especially in the winter months, before offering a bath. Otherwise, they may not want to bathe if the room is cold. Avoid forcing your bird or soaking your bird. It can cause a loss of body heat. Pockets of air in the feathers can fill up with water, and the bird's temperature can drop rapidly, putting them at risk for hypothermia. If saturated, it would be impossible for them to fly. Have you ever watched wild birds bathe? When it's raining, birds fluff up their feathers and they enjoy the bath. When it's pouring rain, their feathers are flattened, which make them water resistant. They trap tiny pockets of air under the feathers to keep warm. So if the pockets of air get wet, the bird can go into hypothermia. Wild birds hide when it's pouring. I've seen it with my own eyes. Birds I've hid on my windowsills to keep out of the pouring rain. They don't like it. They are drenched and they can't fly, which puts them at risk of predators and hypothermia. Birds in the wild take quick baths. They rarely soak themselves and they need to stay warm. They need to be able to fly away from predators, so that's why they don't soak themselves. It should be the same for our pet birds. So they are still considered wild birds and not domesticated birds, which means they still have the instinct to stay warm and to be able to fly away. Soaking birds is only used for medical reasons, such as if the bird is covered in grease, mites, or toxins. You be careful of getting any water in the nostrils. It's best if they bathe on their own. Each species of birds have their own way of bathing. Some like to get really wet, while some others barely get wet. Some only dip their feet and beak in a shallow bowl of water and splash around. Some wet only their breasts, while others get their wings and tail wet. What does the bathing response look like? Well, birds will fluff up their feathers, they may preen, spread their wings, wag their tail, put their heads down low, shake around, and enjoy it. Your bird may dance excitedly with its wings, in the air and the tail fanned. They may spin in circles. They will look very happy and excited and start to bathe. Some will only air bathe and not get any water on them, which is cute to watch. My Bork parakeets do the air bathing, and this is the perfect opportunity to try using the spray bottle on them. They usually will accept it when they are air bathing, so give it a try if you see your birds just bathing in the air without any water. Try the spray bottle, it may work. Some tips on encouraging them to bathe. Well, if your bird won't bathe or won't bathe often, you can encourage them by providing some ambient sounds. Most birds love the sound of running water. A cat fountain is loved by many birds. They love hearing the water running. They like the sound of any, tap running, the shower. I find the best ambience sound to get my birds to bathe is the vacuum. Whenever I vacuum, all my birds take a bath. Also, if you have an air filter near your birds, turn it on high. They love the sound. In a quiet house, they may not bathe, especially if you only have the one bird. Some birds love bathing as a flock. Some birds only bathe when other birds are bathing. You can turn on the tap, air filter, or vacuum. It may help them to bathe. You can wiggle your finger in the bowl, in the shallow bowl, to encourage them to bathe. Just, wiggle your your finger in the bowl. There are many YouTube videos of ambient sounds that you can play for your birds. Try a rain video or ocean waves video and see if your birds will bathe to it. Drying your bird. Well, birds should be able to dry naturally. This is when they preen and they put their feathers in their place and they look beautiful. There is no need to dry them in a towel or use a hair dryer. Use caution using hair dryers, as they usually contain Teflon, especially new dryers, which is toxic to birds. Hair dryers can dry out the skin and feathers of our birds. Dryers can overheat. Overheated dryers omit Teflon. Birds may shiver after the bath, which is a normal process for the birds to shake off the water. It helps them warm up. This is probably why towels and dryers are used, because bird owners see the shivering and they come to the rescue. A little shivering is normal. If the bird is soaked, they may shiver more intensely. If birds are forced to bathe or soaked, they may not want to dry themselves. They'll just sit there and shiver. This is where they may need some help with a towel and perhaps another heat source to keep them warm, as they're probably a little stressed and they don't want to dry themselves. Usually if they bathe themselves, they will dry themselves. Once you have found the desired way your bird likes to bathe, it will be as much fun for you as it is for them. For more videos like this one, click on the video on the screen and I will see you in the next video.